VeriForce is proud to announce the latest version of our Safeland USA accredited course called Basic Orientation 7.0. This is our flagship course that has been taken by over 1.6 million students nationwide. The newest version of this course is shorter than the last version, with condensed training and updated multimedia, but it still includes the same topics as previous courses. As always, the Safeland orientation remains with this employee through the career. It eliminates the redundancy of multiple orientations, and it stores all the training records in a single centralized database for everyone to use. Also, we offer two solutions for getting the training. You can either seek out Safeland training from one of our third-party providers, or you can send one of your instructors through our Train the Trainer program to teach your own employees. If you're interested in learning more, please contact our training sales department at 888-482-9101. That's 888-482-9101, or you can email us at trainingsales@veriforce.com.
Hi, everybody, and welcome again to another episode of the Risk Matrix with myself, Dr. Martin, and my co-host, James Junkin. Hi, James.
Hey, how you doing?
So today, we have on Donnie Lindsay, and we're going to talk to him in a second. But before we get started with today's episode, let me give you a note from our sponsor. Everybody knows that we're powered by VeriForce, right? But today we're sponsored by UCPM. UCPM is a specialty wholesale broker and program manager specializing in environmental insurance. Contractors in the VeriForce network can get their contractors pollution liability insurance through UCPM environmental insurance specialists. UCPM provides expertise and resources with competitive premiums and proper pollution coverage that helps protect your business from environmental claims. Contact your insurance agent and have your agent contact UCPM and save up to 25%. For more information, visit veriforcenetwork.com/offers/UCPM. Welcome, Mr. Lindsay, to the show.
Thanks, Dr. Martin. Appreciate it.
So I'm gonna let James roll you in here, and we'll start the chat. And I'm gonna steal his thunder. You're in the Matrix, baby.
You're in the Matrix, baby. Roll Tide, man. Thanksgiving's around the corner, and I can't think of a better topic to be talking about this time of year than talking about process safety management and all the intricacies of process safety management, because you're starting to see, or at least I'm starting to see, as organizations grow, bringing in things that may impact them and make them become a process safety management facility, such as hydrogen fuel cells. I did an assessment a while back of an organization that uses hydrogen fuel cells to power their powered industrial trucks. And here they got this little mini PSM facility sitting in their backyard. So thank you for coming on and talking about this with us.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into what you're doing right now, and then we'll roll with some questions because I've got some.
Okay. So originally, I went to West Virginia University, graduated in 2000, played football while I was in college, became a firefighter paramedic. I did that for many years. I got into oil and gas, doing some health, safety, environmental training back in 2013, 2014. Was able to retire from the fire department early just because of second jobs and whatnot. Came full-time to the industry in 2016. Did containment, did some environmental stuff, did flowback, got to travel around all over the country in my previous job, to the Bakken, the Permian, to Colorado, to Louisiana, to the Haynesville. Got to learn a lot, working with a bunch of different operators, and was very, very blessed to have an opportunity to go to CNX Resources back in last September, and was the was a lead safety specialist over the midstream portion of the company, and then was promoted to PSM manager in March of this year. So it's been a great ride. Been able to work with a lot of great people, learn a lot, and this is a little newer to me. So working on getting as much knowledge as I can. Got some training coming up next week. I've actually chose to go back to school, and this will be right up Mr. Junkin's alley there. I'm going to be, hopefully, if everything goes well, attending University of Alabama, Birmingham, and I'm going to do their ASEM program with a master's in engineering. So that's kind of briefly in a nutshell where I came from and where I'm at.
Well, they're
Congratulations.
but it's close enough to Roll Tide. It's only about 60 miles up the road, man. That's outstanding. Education can never hurt you. I was on LinkedIn this morning, and somebody posted, said, "Hey, I'm 30 something years old. Is it worth going back to school?" And I couldn't wait to chime in there. I'm like, "Yeah, man, look, I'm 52 and hopefully graduating soon from the doctoral program at Columbia Southern, but be a lifelong learner." So congratulations on doing that. I hope your experience at UAB is a good one. But I wanted to ask you a question, kind of start this off. Have you always worked on the operator side of safety in oil and gas?
No, sir. I spent the most of my career on the service side.
Really?
Yeah. So I was on the service side from flowback, done containment, done drill out, done some frac assist work, done some water transfer work, things like that. So it's been, all across the service industry, and and then working for an operator.
So if I can follow up and then let Dr. Martin jump in here, what's the difference between working on the service side and for contractors in safety as opposed to working for the operators?
One of the analogies I use is, you have, when you're on the service side, you have 10 dads, and you got to keep 10 sets of parents happy. With all the different operators that you work for, they all have, some similar but different standards and different ways they like things and documentation. But when you're the operator, you kind of are the parent. So, a lot less to focus on. You can focus on your own, your own standards and dial in on that.
Very cool. So I got to ask you, is getting into PSM a promotion for you? Do you feel like it's a promotion to be working in this world now, or is it okay?
I really do. This is, it's with the same group that I started with. Just a little bit more finite type work. You're not dealing with people safety. You're dealing with, piping and vessels and, things like that. So it's a different mindset. It's working a little closer with engineering and with operations, to get everything that you need through, for the elements, with still keeping, in the safety, portion of it with the other portion of the safety team. So I think it brings more groups together. I've really taken a large interest in this. I think there's so much to learn and so much to do, that it just it excites me to be able to be a part of it.
Yeah. So day in the life, what does it look like? Day in the life of a PSM specialist or PSM manager?
A lot of auditing stuff, getting this squared away. There's been work done on the PSM side at CNX for the last several years. Really dialing in on it now. Really getting it to a workable point and defining it a little deeper and getting a lot more buy-in with with the different groups. Spend a lot of time doing process safety information audits, a lot of, doing the revalidation of PHAs, doing the 3-year annual audits. We did have 2 facilities, now we have 5. So making sure all of those facilities have everything that they need, and revalidating the previous stuff. So that's pretty
So
much
you're
what,
busy. You're a busy guy. You're a busy guy.
but I'm
Is it a
blessed
one
by
man?
the opportunity. It's a
Yeah.
great opportunity. You're able to learn so much every day. Working with some different engineering contracting companies, they've been a wealth of information. Doing the blast studies, regulatory applicability, max intended inventory, the PSI audits, all the aspects that go into PSM. It's a tremendous learning experience.
He's speaking your language, James.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I am fascinated with process safety, whether it's process safety having to deal with a regulated facility like you're managing, or just process safety in general. My earliest parts of my safety career, of course, we've talked about a million times, dealt with the BP Deepwater Horizon incident, and that was a tremendous failure of process safety. But as safety professionals, many times we're trained, and our education programs and our certification programs are all built around people safety, right?
Yep.
Slips, trips, and falls and things. And I don't want to diminish that at all. But when you talk about process safety, failures in process safety tend to impact a large number of people and can expand outside your fence line. They're the fires, the explosions, the chemical releases that are there. So it's a tremendous responsibility, but it's also a tremendous opportunity to learn how hazards can be controlled in the design and planning of work. I knew I was going to work it in there. She's going to say it just depends here in just a moment.
Just depends.
I can see her all fired up over there, right? So when you made that transition, a lot of the experience that you talked about as a contractor safety professional, that dealt with personal safety and not regulated facilities, right? Because it sounded like a lot of upstream oil and gas work.
Yeah, so I did have the opportunity to work work with an ASME fabrication facility at my previous employer. So I was able to to work with things like that. And we did facilities construction, so we were building these facilities. I worked for a midstream contractor that built several compressor stations. Throughout that time, so I've built the facilities. I've built the vessels, worked with, ASME certified, manufacturing processes. So I think that, gave me some background to understand, those processes.
So when you're in a maintenance period, turnaround, outage, I'm sure that's what y'all call it up there.
Yep.
Outage, we call them turnarounds. I don't know why we can't have common terminology, but
Right.
welcome to oil and gas, brother.
Absolutely.
When you're in those outages, those maintenance downtimes, and you bring in a large amount of contractors, what keeps you up at night, brother?
You worry about the training. You worry about their training. You worry about them seeing things the way that you see them, and that our team sees them, and having the buy-in, and having the same work ethic, the communication, accountability, and integrity that your team has. You worry about that, and one of the ways I think that we best combat that is developing some clear, concise relationships. So these contractors that work for us, they are vetted over time, and they are our go-tos. It's not like, well, you did something wrong, so you're out, we're going to get the next one in. Well, you get that bouncing around, and you get away from the standard, what they expect, what you expect from them, and what they expect from you. So having that buy-in and that communication process, that they know what we expect, and we can verify how they do things based on repetitive work. And we watch them, while they work, and see their processes, and they buy into what we do, which in turn they learn what we expect, and are able to be more efficient.
So you're really taking a lead role with these contractors, and after the vetting process, I hate to use this terminology, but it's sort of like treating them like an SSE contractor, right? We're going to let you come into our facility, but we're going to monitor, we're going to coach, we're going to mentor you until we get to a comfort level where you understand what our expectations are inside your facility. So I think that's outstanding, because what keeps me up at night is when you get one of those new contractors working alongside you. You don't know these people. They don't know you. You don't know what their organizational culture is. You don't know what their training is. And we got to go out and perform tasks together. And that always makes me nervous, you know, and looking back over my career, the incidents that we have in the safety company and safety departments we manage for several oil field contractors, the major incidents we have, we've always been working with someone else. They're new. Which policies are we going to follow? You know, we don't anticipate what their actions might be in affecting our work. The communication is strained, and next thing you know, we have a major incident. So I think that's outstanding that y'all are willing to do that, because so many companies say, look, we hire contractors. You signed this indemnification agreement. We don't want to see what's going on. We don't want to know what's going on. You know, we don't want to hear what's going on. And that's different. You have to have a different approach when you're working in a PSM facility. Is that right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You definitely have to have, that different approach, when you're working in those facilities. But, I feel like it's our company as a whole. It's our company culture. It's our company as a whole that looks at that kind of thing. And, they see it across the board. It's not just in process safety or midstream or production or drilling. It is across the board. And you have that buy-in with all of the QHSE teams, all of the engineers and operations. So that it's more of a company type culture than just, per se, PSM.
So you know what I heard from you when you right before James made his comment there, I heard from you learning together, right? You're learning together with your subcontractors. You vetted them, right? But part
Yes.
of the revetting and the reevaluation process is that you're not, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're not quick to fire somebody that you have a relationship with. You want to learn how to do it better so that the next time there's not an incident or there's not something that goes wrong in the process, because it's better to know who you're working with than it is to start over again.
Yes.
Did I hear that right?
Yes, Dr. Martin, that is true. And so, I mean, we're human beings. We make, people can make mistakes and things like that, but we want to be thorough and try to mitigate making those mistakes and to be on top of our game and to actually mentor, help, and grow and nurture these contractors so we have a better trust in them. They have better trust in us. And knowing that, they're not on pins and needles. Oh, if I do one thing wrong, I'm done. And that's, it's hard to find people that are dedicated and that believe in the culture as we try to put out to our contractors. So we keep the same people so we can put, we're vetting our time and effort into those people, and which in turn they're loyal to us and they're there for us, and we try to be there for them. And it keeps that turnover from, you constantly always having green hands and green hands and green hands. So you mitigate some incidents and things like that, which things are still going to happen, but there's less of a chance if you keep the same people and you put the time in and they put the time in.
Absolutely. So what I hear there is a key element in a functioning safety management system, which is continuous improvement, right? So
Yes,
when you start talking about continuous improvement, that depends upon greatly employee participation, which in your case, and in a lot of cases in oil and gas, and really outside of that, our contractors are doing the maintenance. Our contractors are the ones that are coming in and doing the repairs. So if they're not part of that conversation, we really can't have continuous improvement. I mean, it's one thing for you to have your employees engaged, but engaging those workers that actually do the job. To me, that's key to accident prevention, and it's all part of the Deming PDCA continuous improvement cycle. So I know, under PSM, you have to have a safety management system, but outside of PSM, when you're looking at ISO 45001 or ANSI Z10 or something you came up with yourself, it's important to engage those workers. So let me ask you a question. How do you engage the contractors? How do you meet with them? I know you've got some long-term ones, but do y'all have like regular meetings? Are they involved in the PHA process? How does that work for you?
Yeah, so we have our regular contractors that do the bulk of our big work, but anytime we have to bring a new one in, it's a process. Supply chain gets involved, operation gets involved, HSE gets involved. We do some tabletop auditing. We do some visits to the facilities to actually see what they have. And you can tell me that you have a training program all day long, but I want to see it. I want that verified. I want to know that you know what I know that you think I know.
Amen.
And that's what we really try to focus on. And we're really trying to improve that process as an HSE team, at CNX, and really focusing on our corporate values, responsibility, ownership, excellence, and being a support to those contractors. And they understand that we're not, when safety comes out, we're not a safety cop. That's one of the biggest things that I get frustrated with is, safety's coming out. I don't, that's one thing that I really try to combat and fight. And I'm not there to be a safety cop. I'm there to make sure you have the resources, the needs, and the education to be a part of the bigger picture.
Right.
If there is an issue, like we're going to go clean a tank. Okay, what's in the tank? We have meetings to set up. We go look at it. Air monitoring. We have checkoffs. PSSRs, confined space, hot work. We do all of that stuff integrated with the contractor real time. And a concrete stop work. If someone has a question, we're stopping. We're going to clarify it. We're going to make sure. And to vet those through the whole process and let them understand that they have a voice, that if it's not something that they can do, not something they're comfortable with, maybe we need to find someone else. So we're not asking them to do things that they're not comfortable with, or asking them to do things that they're not familiar with, or they don't have the tools to complete properly. So we try to vet them in that manner.
Yeah. So that just goes back to continuous improvement, right? There's no way you can continuously improve if you're not evaluating what's going on with your subs, how they're doing, and helping them improve, right? Because I go back to this movie. I love this movie, and I don't know if James knows which one I'm going to mention, but You Go, We All Go, right? I think it was the Baldwin brothers. It was Backdraft, and the guy's holding on to one of his brothers, and he said, "You go, we all go," and I think that's pretty spot on to a PSM facility, right? I mean, it's highly hazardous chemicals and materials and processes and whatever, and one little chink in the armor can be catastrophic.
Absolutely. And that's one of my favorite movies going back, with my fire career and everything like that. And that's something, the band of the brotherhood, where you are your brother's keeper. Watch your six, look out for each other. And that's something that our HSE team does across the board, is everybody helps everybody. If I get jammed up with something, and then, we have an outage going on, and all of a sudden we have to do a repair at another facility, I'll jump in and help, the midstream guy out, our midstream safety guy. If the drilling guy's on vacation, I'll fill in for him. So we have that work ethic of togetherness and communication across the board. Like, we're all in this together. Absolutely.
Man, that's the kind of company people want to work for, where they feel that
You bet.
togetherness. right? And you got my back and I got your back, and you know, coming from my veteran experience, and then being in sports and coaching and things of that nature, being part of a team, there isn't an I in team, but there is a me, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
me has to be willing to do whatever's necessary to support the team to achieve those goals. And now you start to hear about psychological safety and things of that nature. And Dr. Daniels, who's on our strategic advisory board, is one of the world's experts in that. But that's really what you're talking about, is creating an atmosphere where people can speak up, they can voice their concerns, you can have each other's back. You know, we're not taking everybody to the woodshed, because human beings do make mistakes. And having that atmosphere probably is preventing more serious accidents from happening.
Yeah, I believe so. And, you know, in that constant communication across, you know, if drilling has something happen or production has something happen, you know, it gets communicated out to all the groups. You know, hey, watch out for this or that. And, you know, we taproot a lot of things that probably some other companies wouldn't taproot. Um, you know, we have the support from our QHSC leadership, from our operations leadership, clear up through our CEO and COO. So we have that support, and when you have that support and they recognize what the QHSC team, you know, does and will do every day, and have that support role, that makes it a lot easier as well, especially through, you know, PSM, because, you know, it's not a cheap venture to redo audits and PHAs and, you know, all of those
Right.
things. And they believe in it. You know, our C-suite leadership and our operations leadership, they believe in it. You know, they know our names. They're in our operations meetings. I'm the president of our local STEPS chapter for West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. And our COO is coming to speak for me at our next meeting on the 14th.
Man, that's leadership right there.
That's leadership.
That's leadership. You know, it's so important to be able to, as a leader, to communicate and to know what's going on down the chain of command. You know, I've been the president or CEO of something since the late 1990s, including a independent oil and gas company in Alabama. And so all of you that are moving up the chain, whether you're safety directors or you're in procurement or risk management or operations, hear my words. The higher up you go, the less you really know what's going on in your organization. So you have to get out of your office and get down and talk to the people, right? And it's amazing what you can learn by just having a conversation about how you as a senior leader can do your job better. You know, you think you're giving people the right tools. For example, you mentioned taproot. Well, I love that you have an incident investigation methodology, but somebody had to go to pay for you all to go to class to learn that incident investigation methodology, right? So that's a capital expenditure. They saw the value in having you highly trained in a methodology that can find true causal factors. Well, if I don't talk to you about that and understand the justification for that, then that's just, hey, why are we sending all of our safety people to this class? This looks like a large amount of expense right here. So I think it's really cool your management team's like that. Hats off to your COO.
So let me just piggyback on that. One of the other things that I heard was sharing of lessons learned. You didn't exactly say this, but you alluded to it, right? Sharing out to the contractors, sharing out to each other. You know, what happened on this last thing, and you know, or it's something similar. What are the methods that you use to do that in your company?
So we have monthly safety meetings for the different groups. For drilling, completions, production, water, midstream. Production and midstream kind of piggyback off each other, you know, meet together, and you know, construction, engineering, construction. So we have these meetings with our contractors. We invite them into, you know, to our facility, you know, sit down with them, let them have a voice. Like, you know, what are you seeing? What can we do better for you? Here's what we're seeing. You know, here's our, you know, here's the incidents that we've had happen. here's, what's been going on, and communicate across the board. Is it, so you can really focus on, leading indicators versus lagging indicators. And they may be able to take that to another operator, that they're working for, and say, hey, hold on, we had this, we heard about this at this operator, hey, watch out for this. And we share across that as well. I'm working on, through the Steps organization and other stuff to have sit downs with other operators and share lessons learned, and go out and speak to the different contractors. I actually did a little presentation for along with our drilling safety guy, one of my very good friends, Justin Ruth. He's our drilling QHSC specialist. We went into another company and I spoke to them on psychological safety. And they have really taken the bull by the horns, and they've done a really good job of implementing some things and making themselves better. And it's like, wow, they're really getting at this. And it does good for, for my heart that, what we're putting out there to these guys and gals, they're taken to heart and they're learning and they're really trying to make a difference. So that open communication, with them, they're hearing it, they're seeing it, they're feeling it. And we've noticed it, across the board, the year over year numbers, spills are less, incidents are less, injuries are less. Everything seems to be.
That's a learning organization right there, Donnie. That's a learning organization. You're doing it. And that's beautiful. And you can hear it in your voice, right? Because it's not all lip service. You have really seen this happen in your organization, and that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I was very honored to, so we do a company pipeline, and you're randomly selected, just based on, whatever the CEO feels like. And Mr. Delilius is our CEO. He's very active in the basin. It's an honor to work for him and Nav, our COO. And I was part of the our pipeline, or it's what you call the company pipeline. And he asked some pointed questions as to, how coming in to the company, how I was able to impact things quickly and, stuff like that. And, for him to see that and recognize that, I've only been there just a little over a year. So I do believe in it, and having that support from our C-suite and from our leadership team, from Tim Huffman and Sean Sunderland, Andrew Perrine, our leadership team with inside of QHSE, you feel like brothers in a family. It's not like, they're your boss. Yes, that, Sean's my boss, but, we're on that mission to make a difference, to truly make a difference.
Beautiful, beautiful. On that note, Donnie, I think we're gonna try to wrap this up a little bit, and I really appreciate you coming on the show because it's inspiring. What's going on at CNX is you can see the twinkle in both James and our eyes. I hope you can. To hear you talk, it gives me chills to think of a company that's actually out there doing good work in this area, because it's not so much just to hire contractors, get work done, do maintenance, all that other kind of stuff, but to really include people, make a difference, change, continually learn. That's a beautiful thing.
Man,
so I want to
move
thank you.
beyond compliance. Listen to what Donnie's saying. That's how you move beyond compliance. You develop a team, and recognizing human beings are going to be human beings, putting proper controls in place, collaboration, support with each other, top management leadership. That's how you do it. And I'm super excited for you, Donnie. And thank you for coming on and telling your story, because maybe that inspires others.
One of the other things that we've done, and it's not really out there a lot, but it's our radical transparency. There were some studies done by Pitt and a few other universities on how bad the industry is. But through our radical transparency process, we've put air monitoring, water monitoring, noise, all that stuff real time, on our locations, on our pad. Our chief risk officer, did a presentation on it. Our environmental strategy team, all that stuff's live on the internet. You can see our radical transparency program on the internet, live time, the chemicals that we use, all the things that we do. We're trying to be stewards of the industry and make sure that we're doing everything the right way and on the straight and narrow.
Now, like that radical
that.
transparency.
Love that. I mean, again, another twinkle in the eye. So you know
Put
what I'm
that
going
in
to
my
do after we get off
toolbox.
this? I'm putting that in my toolbox, and I'm going to go check that out on CNX's website and see what I can read about it. So thanks again for coming on the show, Donnie. I'm gonna let James take us out.
Hey, thank you again, Donnie. And thank you mostly to all of our listeners that come out and listen to our show and our podcast. We do this for you so you can be inspired by guests like Donnie. Hey, if you're brand new listening to us, thank you for joining us. Head on over to VeriForce's YouTube page, get down to the Risk Matrix podcast, hit that like button, we're going to smash the subscribe button, right? That way you know when a new episode drops. Every episode comes out, new episodes come out every Tuesday around noon Central. And we're also on Spotify where you can set that friendly reminder as well. Besides that, we have a whole catalog, over a year's worth of podcasts that we've done with interesting guests and conversation between me and Dr. Martin, all intended to help empower you to get workers home safe from high hazard jobs. So until next time, y'all keep bringing those workers home safe from high hazard jobs and
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, baby. Out.